You could almost hear the collective gasp across social media. Because when Kody Brown opened his mouth in that now viral scene from Sister Wives, he didn't just say something controversial. He detonated a nuclear-level shockwave that no one saw coming. Fans who have followed this family for over a decade thought they'd seen it all. The fights, the favoritism, the betrayals, the breakups. But this was on another level, a masterclass in tone-deaf self-destruction. Let's rewind. It started innocently enough. This episode was meant to be a family moment. Kody and Robyn sat down with their daughter, Aurora, who nervously introduced them to her new boyfriend, Brody. Cameras rolled. Smiles were forced. The air was tense but manageable. And then, just like that, Kody Brown turned a sweet family intro into one of the most cringeworthy moments in TLC history. He launched into what fans are now calling his outlet speech. When the conversation turned toward dating boundaries and purity before marriage, Kody, ever the self-proclaimed moral authority, began explaining how he managed to stay pure when he was courting Robyn. His words were slow, deliberate, and, as it turns out, completely catastrophic. He said, "I was able to keep my hands off Robyn until we were married. I mean, I did have an outlet. I was still affectionate with my other wives. Let that sink in." Millions of people heard that. He actually referred to his other wives as outlets. The room fell dead silent. Aurora looked mortified. Robyn's expression froze into what fans now describe as damage control face. And Brody, poor, unsuspecting Brody, sat there probably wondering if he'd just walked into a psychological experiment instead of a family meeting. The internet exploded within minutes of the episode airing. Hashtags like "Nah, Kody outlets," "Kody said what," and "On Sister Wives meltdown" reached trending status. Viewers flooded Reddit, TikTok, and X with clips of the scene, looping the exact moment Kody uttered the words, "I did have an outlet," like it was a historical event. The fans called it pathetic, degrading, and disgusting. Others labeled it the final nail in the coffin for his image. Even longtime supporters of the show, those who used to defend Kody's complicated role as a plural husband, were done. One viral tweet summed it up perfectly. Imagine your ex-husband publicly calling you his outlet. After 20 years of marriage and 6 kids, the disrespect is biblical. But beyond the internet outrage, something far deeper was happening. That one sentence, that single careless comment, cracked open the truth behind Kody Brown's entire persona. For years, Kody had claimed that he held all his wives in equal regard. His love was based on faith, balance, and family unity. That moment at the outlet killed the entire narrative. It showed what Christine, Janelle, and even Mary had been saying for years. He never saw them as partners. He saw them as functions, roles, tools to fulfill whatever emotional or physical need he had at the time. And the irony? He was proud of himself, saying that. He thought it was a flex, proof of his discipline and loyalty to Robyn. It became the ultimate confession of emotional neglect and objectification. The fan reactions were brutal but deserved. Comment sections were filled with heartbreak, disgust, and secondhand embarrassment. So, let me get this straight. Christine, Janelle, and Mary were his emotional punching bags, his physical outlets while he was daydreaming about Robyn. Gross, another wrote. This man just admitted what we've been screaming for years. The other wives were placeholders until Robyn came along. And that's exactly it. The outlet confession wasn't just offensive, it was confirmation. It proved every tear, every argument, every moment of isolation those women went through was real. The feelings of being invisible weren't an exaggeration. They were the inevitable outcome of a man who saw intimacy as utility. It was supposed to be Aurora's big moment, but instead, the episode became a kind of dark mirror reflecting the decades of dysfunction that led to the collapse of the Brown family. And here's the kicker. It wasn't the first time Kody's arrogance blew up in his face, but it was the first time it happened quite so publicly and irreversibly. There's just no walking this back, no apology that fixes it. No amount of Robyn's nervous smiles or TLC editing can reframe it as a misunderstanding. Kody Brown said what he said, and now the world finally sees him exactly as his ex-wives did. But that's only the beginning. Because after that scene aired, Kody didn't just face backlash, he doubled down. And what he said next made fans realize that this wasn't just ignorance, the sense of entitlement, pure and unadulterated. Yes, rather than indicating any remorse, rather than realizing the enormity of what he'd said, the man doubled down. And what followed was one of the most painfully tone-deaf explanations ever to air on Sister Wives. Then came the backpedaling. Kody, noticing the discomfort in the room, chuckles awkwardly and says something that makes fans' jaws drop even further. I'm just being honest. That's how it was. I was in plural marriage. I had outlets. There it was again, the word that launched 1,000 think pieces. And this time, he wasn't stumbling over it. He was owning it. Calling 3 women outlets was supposed to be something to brag about. People don't understand plural marriage. It's complicated. You can love someone new, but still have commitments with others. It's about self-control. Fans saw right through it. He wasn't talking about spiritual balance or emotional maturity. He was talking about how he managed to pursue one woman, Robyn, while continuing to use the others for his needs. It was like hearing a man justify emotional cheating in slow motion. The internet lit up again. A single comment on Reddit went viral. Another fan wrote, "Robyn, ever the damage control queen, jumped in to try and smooth things over." She smiled that nervous, "Please stop talking" smile and said, "Kody's just very passionate. He means he was being faithful, saving himself for marriage." But that only made it worse. Because now it sounded like both of them were trying to turn a deeply insulting comment into a romantic virtue. The internet dubbed it, "Spin so desperate it should come with a tornado warning." Poor Aurora. Looked like she wanted to disappear. You could see the humiliation written all over her face, not just because her dad had turned her relationship intro into a morality monologue, but because that morality was built on hypocrisy. After her weak attempt to save him, she went quiet. Her smile faded. She looked down. It was as if she realized, in real time, there was no saving this moment. Not this time. He said, "And that's the tragedy of Kody Brown. He mistakes conviction for character. He thinks that if he says something with confidence, then that makes it virtuous. He's failed to learn that conviction without empathy is just arrogance. Because here's the thing. This wasn't about purity. It wasn't about belief. It was about control. For years, Kody has cloaked himself in religion and principles to justify outright favoritism, gaslighting, and manipulation. Every time a wife dared to question his decisions, he's called it spiritual rebellion. Every time one left, he's called it disrespect. Now, when the cameras catch him demeaning those same women, he calls it honesty. That is not honesty. That is emotional detachment masquerading as righteousness. He fed his ego with Christine's love, funded his dreams with Janelle's loyalty, and fueled his control with Mary's forgiveness. Calling them outlets was the truth, just not in the way he meant it. And here's the part nobody had foreseen. Kody enjoyed the controversy. In later interviews, he hinted that people took it the wrong way. He said he was being real, that the world wasn't ready for raw truth. No, Kody, the world was ready. What they weren't ready for was your complete lack of empathy, because when a man confesses that he treated 3 women as emotional vending machines while elevating a 4th to sainthood, that's not raw truth. That's psychological warfare masquerading as marriage. What the fans didn't know yet, though, was the deeper consequences of this outlet disaster. Behind the scenes, it started a wave of tension, with his older children, his ex-wives, and even Robyn herself. The perfect image of Kody and Robyn's unbreakable love was starting to show cracks. And the internet wasn't just watching, it was documenting every single one. The storm that followed Kody Brown's outlet confession didn't just live online, it hit home in ways even he couldn't spin his way out of. What began as a jaw-dropping viral moment quickly morphed into something far more serious. A family reckoning. Behind the slick TLC editing and awkward humor, something broke that day, not just among the fans, but within the Brown family itself. Reactions inside the family circle were explosive when the episode went on air. Per sources that attended production, several of Kody's older children were furious, not just embarrassed, but deeply offended. They'd watched their father humiliate their mothers for years on national television, but this time it crossed a line. Outlet. That one word, spoken so flippantly, opened up every wound ever felt. Gwendolyn has never held back from calling out her dad's behavior, and she reportedly posted some cryptic comments online, simple emojis, like a trash can or a broken heart, that fans instantly decoded as silent disapproval. Logan, the oldest, refused to comment at all, which in this family means everything. Silence is the statement. Christine Brown, though, oh, Christine. She didn't need to say much. She simply posted the image of herself and her new husband, David Woolley, smiling in their Utah home. Captioned simply, "Peace is knowing you made the right choice." It was a direct hit, a quiet, classy mic drop directed straight at the man who once called her an outlet. Her comments were flooded by fans, the queen of self-respect. This is what healing looks like. He used you as an outlet, but you became the power source. Always pragmatic, Janelle took a different tack. The producers captured the following quote in a film interview with her shortly after this episode. They were amazed by her words. At some point, you realize you weren't in a marriage. You were in a system. She didn't name Kody. Didn't have to. Everyone knew exactly what she meant. And Mary? Mary, the woman who stood by Kody through years of neglect, who kept defending him long after everyone else had given up. She reportedly broke down after watching that episode. Sources close to her say she cried for hours, not out of love, but out of confirmation, because after all those years of wondering why she wasn't enough, she finally got the truth straight from his mouth. I was just an outlet. It became like a ghost that filled every corner of their history together. Every intimate moment, every reconciliation, and every false promise had a dark meaning now. But while his ex-wives were processing, Kody was doing what Kody does best, doubling down. A few days later, Kody defended his words once more in an online interview clip, saying, "I think people misunderstand me. What I meant was I was faithful. I didn't cheat. I followed my beliefs." That line, "I didn't cheat," sent fans into a frenzy. Because let's be honest, emotional cheating doesn't have to be physical. It's what you do when your heart is somewhere else, while your partner's still trying to hold the pieces together. And Kody's heart had clearly belonged to Robyn long before the others realized it. In fact, several insiders from within TLC revealed that this outlet talk wasn't new. It was old beliefs resurfacing, a glimpse into the mindset Kody had during those critical years where the family started to fall apart. Back then, Christine was begging for time and affection. Janelle was begging for partnership, and Mary clung on to hope. But Kody, he was already gone emotionally, reasoning it all out as spiritual order. A decade later, he just said the quiet part out loud, and if you thought Robyn was unscathed by the chaos, think again. Behind her camera-ready smile, she was reportedly furious. Yes, furious, not because she disagreed with Kody's statement, but because of the backlash. The public humiliation, the fact that this one scene made her look complicit in something cruel. Producers close to the show claim Robyn asked for some scenes to be edited for context, but it was already too late. The damage had been done. The internet doesn't forget, and the memes were everywhere. A trending TikTok sound now has Kody's voice saying, "I did have an outlet," over clips of Christine flipping her hair and walking away. Another features Robyn looking mortified with the caption, "When your husband confesses your relationship started on disrespect." And yet Kody seemed proud of the attention. In a follow-up confessional, he smiled and said, "People can twist it however they want. I was honest. That's who I am. That's the tragedy, isn't it?" He still believes that arrogance equals authenticity. But the truth is, his honesty has consequences. Real ones. After that episode went on the air, TLC reportedly received calls from sponsors who were very uncomfortable with Kody's comments. PR damage control was necessary by the network in quick order to prevent the situation from becoming a full-blown controversy. Meanwhile, former Sister Wives crew members went to Reddit anonymously to say they weren't surprised at all. "That's the real Kody," one wrote. "We've seen him say worse off camera. What you're seeing now is just the mask slipping." But here's where things get even darker. because that outlet talk wasn't just a slip of the tongue. It was a window into what's coming next. Insiders say Kody's behavior has grown increasingly erratic since the backlash. Paranoid, defensive, and obsessed with proving he's still the head of the family. Robyn, once his fiercest defender, has allegedly grown distant, tired of cleaning up his messes. In one leaked behind-the-scenes clip, a crew member reportedly overheard Robyn mutter, "He can't stop talking himself into a corner." That's right. Even Robyn sees it now. Cracks are widening in their so-called soulmate marriage, and it is Kody's outlet fiasco that might just be the breaking point to expose it all. Because when you refer to the women who built your empire as outlets, don't be surprised when the power finally goes out. You could feel it brewing from miles away, for years. Robyn Brown has stood beside Kody through every controversy, every insult, every viral meltdown, the loyal partner, the calm voice of reason, the one who understood him when no one else did. But this time was different. This time, even Robyn couldn't defend the indefensible. After the outlet confession aired, the internet didn't just go after Kody, it went after her too. Viewers accused Robyn of being complicit, of enabling a man who demeaned the women who came before her. Hashtags like Robyn knew, our sister wives' truth, and silent but guilty began trending. At first, Robyn did what she always does, smiled through it. In confessionals, she wore her usual soft tone, insisting people in the show just didn't understand Kody's way of talking. But off camera, something shifted, according to insiders. One source close to production revealed Robyn's embarrassed. She's furious at Kody for how careless he was. She told him, "You made me look heartless." And honestly, she's not wrong. The outlet fiasco didn't just expose Kody. It exposed the fragile illusion of their soulmate marriage. For over a decade, Robyn has been painted as the favored wife, the emotional center of Kody's world. But the truth? That pedestal has become a prison. Because when you build a relationship on someone else's pain, eventually you will inherit their ghosts. Behind the closed doors, Robyn is reportedly at her wit's end, not just because of the backlash, but also because of Kody himself. His rants, victim complexes, and obsession with defending his image have all increased since the episode aired. A family insider told In Touch, Robyn's exhausted. She's walking on eggshells, trying to keep him calm. Every time she tries to talk about what happened, he flips it back on her, accuses her of not supporting him. Same story, different verse. The ex-wives know this cycle all too well. Christine used to try reasoning with him too. So did Janelle. So did Mary, and now it's Robyn's turn. Except this time, the whole world is watching it unravel in real time. That's not all. The latest Sister Wives behind-the-scenes special had fans noticing something chilling. During one of Kody's solo interviews where he ranted about being misunderstood, the camera cut to Robyn, who sat in the background with her arms crossed, glassy eyes, and a tight jaw. It was the first time she didn't hide her frustration. The clip instantly went viral. Fans captioned it, "Robyn looks like she finally met the real Kody. You can see the light go out in her eyes," and that wasn't the only sign. TLC cameras reportedly captured the moments in upcoming episodes, where Robyn finally snaps back small at first, subtle, correcting Kody mid-sentence, challenging his narrative, refusing to laugh at his jokes. It's the quiet kind of rebellion, but it's there, and the fans have noticed it. "This is how it starts," one viewer wrote. "Robyn's beginning to realize she's not special. She's next." Because that's the heartbreaking truth. With Kody, it's always the same pattern, only with different targets. When Christine left, Robyn became the angel. When Janelle distanced herself, Robyn became the last hope. And by the time Mary decided to cut ties, Robyn was left with the burden of a man, unwilling to see his reflection. Now the responsibility was crushing her. Recent rumors from the production crew of Sister Wives reveal that Robyn has even threatened to stop filming if TLC does not intervene. One insider stated, "She told producers she feels like the show has turned into a circus. She's tired of Kody digging holes and her being the one who has to fill them back in." Her frustration isn't just about the show. It's about their life, their once fairy, Tail marriage is now under siege from the same storm that Kody created: financial stress, public backlash, and the absence of family unity have turned their Flagstaff mansion into a quiet battleground. People close to the family say Robyn and Kody have been fighting more than ever, and not the usual on-camera squabbles. We're talking hours-long arguments about trust, image, and loyalty. Robyn allegedly said, "You've destroyed what's left of this family. You can't blame everyone else forever." And instead of listening to her, Kody supposedly exploded, telling her that she was turning into the others. Sound familiar? That's what he told Christine just before she left. The parallels are haunting, and fans have started piecing it together. TikToks and YouTube breakdowns are going around showing side-by-side comparisons of Kody's body language with Robyn now versus his behavior with Christine in their last year together. And the results? Identical. The same dismissive tone, the same defensive posture, the same growing anger. Deja vu, that is, except this time it's the golden couple who buckle under the pressure. And here's the kicker: Robyn knows it. She's told fans for years that her biggest fear was being the last one standing. She wanted sisterhood, connection, family unity. But what she got was isolation, the same loneliness the others endured, just in a prettier house. Christine once said in an interview, "Robyn thought she was winning. But when you're the only one left, that's not a win. That's a warning." Now those words feel prophetic. She's the woman who once represented Kody's fresh start, after all. And it's hard watching him spiral in public, alienate his children, and destroy the last shreds of his reputation. Every time he opens his mouth, she loses a little bit more ground, because this isn't just about what Kody said. It's about what it revealed. The outlet talk was never just a slip-up. It was a confession of who he's always been, a man who sees people as functions, not feelings. And Robyn? She's finally realizing she is next in line to be replaced, not by another wife, but by the same cycle of blame, control, and self-justification that has taken everyone else down. The cracks are showing, and this time, no TLC editing can hide them. By the time the dust from the outlet scandal began to settle, something in the sister wives world had fundamentally changed. The illusion that Kody Brown could still control the narrative, that he was the misunderstood patriarch, the man just trying to hold his family together, was officially dead. The cracks that had been forming for years were no longer cracks. They were fault lines, and the ground beneath Kody was splitting open. The once proud king of Coyote Pass now stood in the ruins of his own making. No unity, no respect, no real family left. And the irony? He was the only one who didn't see it coming. In the weeks following the outlet episode, fans, tabloids, and even insiders began to notice a shift in Kody's behavior, an unraveling that couldn't be edited out. He wasn't just defensive anymore. He was paranoid, confrontational, desperate. Insiders claim producers had to stop filming multiple times on account of Kody's outbursts. One source shared, he kept saying everyone twisted his words. He said the network made him look like a villain on purpose. But the truth is, no one needed to twist anything. Kody did that himself. And so, for the first time, even Robyn did not rush to clean up his mess. She started showing up to filming sessions solo. She spoke to producers without his presence in the room. She started referring to my house instead of our house. Those weren't accidents. Those were Freudian slips from a woman finally realizing she's tied to a sinking ship. Fans picked up on it immediately. On Reddit and TikTok, clips of Robyn's recent interviews were dissected frame by frame. Viewers noticed her body language, her eyes darting away when Kody talked, her shoulders tensing every time he interrupted her. One user put it best. She looks like she's seeing what everybody else saw 10 years ago, and she's terrified. And maybe she should be, because behind the scenes, the emotional spiral was getting worse. According to insiders, Kody's relationship with his older children has hit rock bottom. Several of them, including Gwendolyn, Logan, and Peyton, have reportedly cut off direct communication entirely. One insider described it bluntly. They're done. They've given up trying to reason with him. Every conversation turns into him talking about himself. Janelle, who once tried to play mediator, has reportedly stepped back too. In a leaked clip from a recent filming day, she was overheard telling a crew member, "He's not the man we knew. He's angry all the time. You can't talk to him without him making it about Robyn." And that's the thing. Even Robyn's starting to see that she's not immune. What once protected her through the soulmate narrative has become a trap now. Every word Kody says is a PR nightmare waiting to happen, and every interview he gives drags her deeper into the controversy. Following the disaster at the outlet, fan sympathy for Robyn reached an all-time low. People no longer saw her as the misunderstood wife. They saw her as an enabler. The tears that once drew in empathy now trigger eye rolls. The gentle tone? Labeled manipulative. It's the classic reality TV downfall. When the script flips, it flips hard, and TLC knows it. Producers have allegedly changed course for this coming season. Rather than selling this past season's story as the love story of Kody and Robyn, producers will frame this new season around the repercussions of Kody's actions. The word rebranding has been used multiple times in internal conversations. As one crew member explained bluntly, people are tired of watching him talk. They want to see the women rebuild without him. That's right. The empire that made Kody famous now thrives without Kody. Christine's social media content is going in a real spin-off style. While Janelle's wellness and lifestyle brand is really gaining traction, even Mary has found her independence again after all these years of isolation. She focuses on her bed and breakfast, her friendships, and her peace. Meanwhile, Kody's just stuck in this cycle where he's still ranting about betrayal, still preaching about loyalty, and still trying to convince the world he is a victim. But the world's moved on. The outlet moment wasn't just embarrassing, it was exposing. It peeled back every layer of justification he's built for decades and revealed the truth underneath. All he knows about is control, not love. When Christine left, it wasn't rebellion. It was her liberation. When Janelle walked away, that wasn't selfishness. That was survival. When Mary cut ties, it wasn't disloyalty. It was self-respect. And now, Robyn's learning those same lessons. Whispers from the crew indicate that Robyn has started quietly seeing a counselor of her own, away from TLC's purview, a move she once swore she'd never make without Kody's blessing. She also reportedly confided in close friends that she can't keep defending him forever. Fans also noticed her absence in several recent public outings, in which Kody was photographed alone, red-faced and visibly agitated, telling photographers Robyn needed space. That line, needed space, might be the quiet start of the end. Because every story in the Sister Wives saga starts and ends with the same pattern. Kody loses it. He blames the woman. The woman finally walks away. And then he calls it betrayal. But this time, there's no one left to betray him but himself. And the saddest part? He still thinks he's winning. In his latest confessional recorded weeks after the outlet episode, Kody spoke directly to the camera and said, "People don't understand my heart. I've given everything to this family, and I keep getting punished for it. No remorse, no reflection, just the same circular logic that's defined his downfall. But not anymore. As clearly now fans see the mask shattered. This so-called patriarch, spiritual leader, and guardian of faith has turned out to be the cautionary tale he himself created. The man who once ordered 4 wives around sits alone now in a mansion that has become something close to a museum of his failures. And as for Robyn, she's still there, reportedly, but emotionally, she's halfway out the door. The woman who once defended Kody's every action is now whispering what Christine once said years ago. This isn't what I signed up for. So here we are. The end of the Brown family's empire. Not with a bang, but with a confession. One careless line, decades of truth in its wake. I did have an outlet. It was supposed to sound like self-control, but in the end, it exposed what everyone already knew. Kody Brown never saw love as a partnership. He saw it as possession. And now all the outlets are gone. The lights have gone out on Coyote Pass. And the man who thought he was the center of the Sister Wives universe has finally learned the show must go on, even without him.